Okay, assalamualaikum and a very good morning. So if you're watching this in the evening or in the night, so good afternoon or good evening. So this is a lecture regarding real estate marketing. So we are going to look at the second lecture topic, uh, and then we are going to look at the marketing environment. So I hope everybody can get a hold of their lecture notes copies. We are going to refer that mostly towards this recorded lecture session. Okay, so the first learning objective is that number one is for you to have the ability to describe the environmental forces that affect the company's ability to serve its customers. And number two is for you to explain how changes in the demographic and economic environments affect marketing decision. And number three is for you to identify the major trends in the firm's natural and technological environments. And number four is to explain the key changes in the political and also cultural environment. This one I think everybody can be quite excited for, because regarding our current condition right now, we have the changes in the government, and so the changes of the government, we can expect some kind of changes also in the policies that they are going to make. And number five is for you to discuss how companies can react towards marketing environment. So in the next lecture, in the next slide, you can see that I have outlined for you to learn regarding the company's micro environment, and number two is for the company's macro environment, and lastly is for you to respond towards the marketing environment. So the marketing environment includes the actors and forces outside marketing that affect marketing management's ability to build and maintain successful relationship with customers. So basically, the marketing environment is we see the external forces, that affects the ability of we to make decision to better increase our own products. For example, as a property products or even the new technological products like phones or whatsoever. So for marketing environment, we first need to look at the micro environment, which consists of the actors close to the company and affects its ability to serve its customer, the company, the suppliers, the marketing intermediaries, customer markets, the competitors, and the public. So be quite familiar with this number of micro environment factors, because the micro environment factor, this one is more relates towards the organization that we are in of. For the macro environment, we can see consists of the larger societal forces that affects micro environment. So if micro environment is more towards the company, supplier, the middleman, the market, the competitor, and the public. So for macro is a larger scale. For example, is on the country scale. If you look at the country's demographic, the economic factor, the natural factor, technological, and even political and also cultural. So we are going to look into deeper. So for the first aspect, which is micro environment, we are going to look at the company itself. So the company, usually for an organization, consists of several big departments. For example, is the top management. Top management can consist of board of directors, the CEO, the CFO, the COO, all the C's, the chiefs, the chief executive officers, chief financial officers, chief operating officers, and many others. Board of directors, like in our university itself, we have board of directors, the chairman of the board of director, and then we have the members of the board of director. Okay, And next we look at the finance department, where we have the chief financial officers and all the officers working, and the accountancy, and the investment division, and the financial transaction division, and others. Other than that, number three is through R&D. R&D means research and development. So for a big organization, we must have this department, as we wanted to innovate for products. Like for example, the technological companies like Apple must have an R&D, because we want to innovate the products that we produce, not just one model for 5 or 10 years, but we want to innovate quickly. For 1 year at least, we produce one new model with new features, like a higher resolution camera, a higher resolution display, better good quality materials, and lower cost of production, and others. Okay. And then after that, we have the purchasing, the operations, and also even the accounting department inside the company. So for the supplier, their role is to provide resources to produce goods and services, and is treated as partner to provide customer value. So sometimes when we want to offer a product, we don't produce everything on our own. Like the phone company, we don't get the raw product, the silica, the zinc, the aluminium, the metal, everything we mine in Nigeria, in Ghana, in China. We mine everything, then we come back to our home base, like in California, and then we assemble everything there. So we are the one who is mining the product, we are the one who is innovating the product, we are the one who is assembling the product. So we don't do that. So usually we have the suppliers to do that. Like property also. So we are not the one who is dredging the sand to get the raw material from the river. We are not the one who produces each brick. So mostly we get these items from other suppliers, for this raw item from suppliers, and then these items we can use in our property development. Okay, so that one is regarding supplier. And for marketing intermediaries, so this one is more towards the middleman. So the intermediaries help the company to promote, sell, and distribute its product to its final buyers. And examples include resellers, physical distribution firms, the marketing services agency, and the financial intermediaries. For example, is the reseller, of course. So in a sense, even estate agencies, companies, they can become the intermediaries for marketing. For example, if a developer is quite small developer, but they have a up and coming project, they don't have a marketing team, so they can appoint an estate agency company to do the marketing for them. So in this way, it will be more cost efficient, as the marketing team is only appointed throughout the development project. For example, if you have 2 years development project, then you just appoint the marketing team for 2 years. So you don't have to appoint the marketing team on a permanent basis. Let's say after 2 years you don't have any more project to be marketed, but you still have the team there, so they don't have anything to do. So you just have to pay unnecessary cost to them. So this kind of arrangements can be done from estate agency companies, and even the developers that can represent a good case study for marketing intermediaries. Okay, so if we see other than marketing intermediaries, is we need to look at the company's micro environment of the customer. The customer is the biggest base that we need to take care of, because customers' needs and wants is the one that we are targeting of. So if a customer can feel that, oh, your product is very good, and I feel that there is a need for me to purchase this product, then I will purchase. Then only you can generate the revenue or profit that you expect of. For example, if you use products like nowadays, Koei, they feel that the marketers of Koei makes that that their water filter system is very good, and everybody should get their water filter system. Without their water filter system, or the tap water is not very good, not very clean. So it's a very good and clever marketing ploy to play on the sentiment of the customers. Okay. So customer markets consist of individuals and households that buy goods and services for their personal consumption. So as we see, customer is the final relationship towards a product, whereby they purchase these products and they use on their own. Like we said about Koei earlier, they are the one who purchase the Koei product, and then they use the water that is being filtered by Koei for their own consumption. So they drink all this water. I don't know about whether they are washing their hand or they're bathing to using Koei's water, but I don't know about that. Maybe one of you did that, but usually this customers is the one who we are needed to satisfy. Okay, so after then the customer, then we need to look other than the personal users, which is the business market, meaning other kinds of companies or organization, whereby they purchase our own product in the bulk, and they use that kind of product for corporate usages. For example, if we take the Koei again, and then a company can use Koei to provide drinking water to all of its employees. Like in UiTM also, in our own building. Right now we are not in our own building. Right now you are wherever you are right now, in Penang, in Johor, I don't know where you are, but I hope you are in the campus. In our own building we have the Koei machine downstairs, but usually the water is never there, unless you came very early, 6 a.m. in the morning, then you can get the Koei water. So that is the kind of purchases that organization makes for their employees, or even like in our institution, our university, is for the students. Students mostly is the one who always drink out all the Koei water. The staff cannot get any of the Koei. Okay, never mind of that. Other than customers, we are also needed to look at the competitors. So firms must gain strategic advantages by positioning their offerings against competitors' offerings. This is actually more related towards how you are going to distance your own product towards your competitors' product. Competitors' product, sometimes that's why we always look at other people. We compare our own product. If you are offering terrace houses in Sri Iskandar, for example, if you use in Bandar University and also in Puncak Iskandar, what's the main difference? Is it the value for money? Is it the design of the houses? Is it the location of the houses? Is it the materials being used? So for us as a company, when we want to gain an advantage, we must highlight our strengths. But we don't want to highlight the weakness. Everybody don't want to show their weakness. We want to highlight the strength. When we highlight our strength, then only we can market properly to customer. Like in Puncak Iskandar, we only uses clay bricks, as compared in our competitor in Bandar University, they use sand bricks. So our clay brick is much higher quality than the sand bricks being used in Bandar University. So our clay bricks is much quality. It retains coolness inside the property, so you won't feel really hot. Like in Sri Iskandar, it's very hot and humid. So this place a major role in attracting people to purchase your product, for example. Alright. So other than the competitors, you are also needed to look at the public. Public. So public is any group that has an actual or potential interest in or impact or an organization's ability to achieve its objective. So we have financial, we have media, we have government public, we have citizen action public. Citizen action ni like citizen action. This one is more like who is that guy? What do you call Ayanda? The one Rani Kulub. Citizen action. So he is called Raja Report Malaysia. So he is a very concerned citizen. But I don't know, maybe the policeman already don't want to see his face every day in the police station anymore. But nevertheless, this is a kind of citizen action. Other than that guy, if you have any concerns relating a product nowadays, people can go and report towards the authorities. Like you see restaurant that is that is dirty, with cockroaches, with rat droppings everywhere. When you are eating nasi kandar, usually the culprit in Malaysia, this one we associate with nasi kandar. I don't know, but other kinds of restaurant they can also be quite dirty, but sometimes you don't see the kind of viral like the one nasi kandar in Penang. Everybody said this one already can be closed or whatsoever, but this is the thing. It means that people, the citizen, they are becoming more and more aware of the product that they receive, and then they can take action, but either by reporting to the authorities or even viral. Nowadays viral, using the consumer power to mass boycott the products if they feel the product is not satisfying or even have some problems with the product. Okay. And then we have the general public, and lastly is the internal public. Internal, this one is more towards your own company. So you must gain the confidence from your staff members first before you can try to generate confidence from the public. If your staff members don't believe in your own product, then it's going to be a problem, because when they don't believe in your own company's product, then of course how they are going to convince the general public. Okay. The public, we can see, okay, we already went through that. So that's a little bit regarding microenvironment, but I think we will go through towards macro. We want to look at macro. So for macro environment, we have several items in the macro environment. Number one, demographic. So for demographic is the study of human populations in terms of their size, their density, their location, their age, gender, race, occupation, and other statistics. So basically, whatever information that we can obtain regarding people, we can measure them. For example, like the size of the population, comparing the size of population in Perak and also in Kuala Lumpur. So in Perak, we might have 1 million number of residents, but in Kuala Lumpur, it can be about 9 million residents there. So you can see from the number of people living in an area, you can try to accommodate what is their need, what is their most sought after criteria of a product. The age also plays a factor. So for younger generation, Gen Z, Gen Y, I don't know about your Gen. I think I mean Gen X, 1989. So the generation gap also plays a role. For the older people, they might not like new hipster products. Like everybody right now is raving about eating boba tea, boba tea, or even doing Paco one chip challenge. So the older generation, they might not be very inclined to this kind of products. Their preference might be more on the traditional products, like eating in classical Malay restaurant or whatever. But the younger generation, nowadays they eat at fast food joints, and then they eat at whatever viral hipster cafes right now, like eating tower burgers or something like that. So the age and generation gap also plays a role in determining the factor of demographics. So demographic environment is important because it involves people, and people make up the markets. And demographic trends include the age, the family structure, the geographic population shift. This one is more related towards the migration pattern. As we can see right now, nowadays in Malaysia especially, and it's happening all over the world. People are migrating more from rural to urban areas, because they wanted to seek for opportunities. Because sometimes in rural areas, in kampongs, villages, the opportunities is just not there. Opportunities to study, to find work, to find spouse. I don't know about that. Maybe the choices of spouse is not very good in your kampongs. But we tend to come to urban areas for many different reasons. For example, like myself, I'm from urban area coming to rural. That one is quite special, because it doesn't happen a lot. But usually it's rural to the urban areas. They wanted to get a better opportunity, better jobs. So you can see during holiday season, right now is around school holiday seasons. People getting out from Kuala Lumpur back to their hometowns. In the upcoming months is going to be Raya. Raya, they are going to flood the highway system. Everybody is going back home. You can see going back to Kelantan, to Penang, to Kedah, to Johor, flooding the system. And in Hari Raya in Kuala Lumpur, there's nobody on first day of Raya. Just the foreigners. The foreigners will take over KLCC and Pavilion. So no more Malaysians at Kuala Lumpur during Raya. Okay. Other than that is also the population diversity. Population diversity is a concentration number of people living in an area, what kind of demographic they are, the race, the age, and then the religion. Like in Malaysia, of course, we have the Bumiputras, who is mostly is Muslim. I said Bumiputra mostly, not Malay. Malay, of course, in the federal constitution, everyone of the Malays must be Muslim. But Bumiputra, sometimes they can also include people in Sabah, Sarawak, the orang asal, the native. So these are people under Bumiputra also. So that also plays a role in the demographic factor. So how you cater towards Malays preferences of eating, Malay preferences of product, the Chinese, the Indians. So they all have their preferences, but mostly we try to find the gap which everybody loves and like to eat. For example, eating fried chicken. Everybody loves to eat fried chicken, and everybody can eat fried chicken. So we wanted to find a product that can close that kind of gap. Okay. So this is a figure of the population of Malaysia, as you can refer in your lecture notes. So we can see the population of Malaysia mostly is concentrated in the Klang Valley. With the Selangor is 19.9%, almost 20%. Not including KL. Including KL and Putrajaya is about 25%. So 1/4 of the human population in Malaysia right now is currently living in the Klang Valley. So as compared to like in Perak, it's about 7.8%, not much living. And then the lowest number of people living in the state is in the Perlis, 0.8%. Nobody wanted to settle down or migrate to Perlis. So Perlis, I heard a rumor that I don't know whether it's true or not. The estate management department is also going to be opened up in FSPU Arau Perlis. So I hope I'm not the one who's going to be drafted there. I thought Sri Iskandar is already kampung enough for me. Okay, but that's for another time. I hope the rumor is not true. Okay. So for the company micro environment, we can see on the demographic aspect the generational marketing, whereby you segment people based on the Gen Y, the Gen X, the Gen Z, and now there's another generation which is called the Gen Alpha. The Gen Alpha. Previously, for the senior generation, we have the baby boomers. So their preferences, like I said before, is not the same. Baby boomers might not be very proficient in technology, but they are very proficient in reading newspaper materials, for example, physical books, physical newspapers. As for compared to the newer generation, they are more inclined towards technological usage. They read the news through Google News. They communicate through media social, and they hang out at urban hipster cafes as compared to the baby boomer generation, for example. So baby boomer, like I said before, is born around 1946 to 1964. So you can find out whether your parents they can be included in baby boomers or not. In our department also, we have several baby boomers who is nearing retirement already. But they some of them adapt quite good towards the technological changes that we have. Okay, so Generation X, we have 1965 until 1976. So this is where the area that the baby boomers, the after the baby boomers, this is quite turmoil, because we have a lot of Cold Wars, and we have Vietnam War. So the Gen X have a high divorce rates, concern about the environment. So this is the time where we see people in Woodstocks. Woodstocks meaning they put up the peace sign and peace, no war. So they are more environmental conscious. So they respond to socially responsible company. So any companies who is not responsible, like producing items for world wars, whatever, they are being rejected by this Generation X. Gen X also is less materialistic, prefers more towards quality of life, more towards consumer organization, environment groups, and also leading towards a minority groups. They are more fond towards this kind of groups. And after that is Gen Y. So me myself is included in the people born from 1977 until 2000. So I think this is most of the current crop of students right now, because we are living in the internet generation, whereby we have exposure towards vast amount of information, especially on products, on people, on celebrities, whatsoever. We can get any kind of information, as compared to the Gen X and the baby boomers. They, whenever they wanted to get information, they have to rely on people's word of mouth, or even finding through physical sources, as compared to we are right now. We are an information age. Okay, right? So for demographic environment, there's also trends on the changes of the workforce. So trend is that more people is right now currently becoming more educated, more white collar and more professional. Like you guys, the one who is in the university, you are the cream of the crop. You are the brightest among the brightest, because you already inside the university. The lecturers also is also the one of the brightest, of course. We teaching the brightest student, and then the lecturer must be very bright. So the changing in the workforce show that now in current days nowadays we need to have the skills and expertise, especially when we want to offer up services and become professional. We must have the qualification first, like you guys doing diploma estate management, and afterwards is the bachelor's degree estate management. Then you can be certified as either registered estate agent or even registered valuers. So it shows, with the level of qualification that we have, we can much contribute towards the workforce, especially in our country. Okay, other trends, I don't want to comment on that. Ethnicity, gay, lesbian, disabled, so that one you can find out on your own. I don't want this to become a religious class or whatsoever. That one is out of my expertise. So other than that, micro environment, we need to look at the economic environment. For example, if before this we are more towards subsistence economies, meaning that very traditional base. You are farming the paddy, the paddy, the rice that we eat, the paddy we farm for our family, and if we have excess paddy or excess rice, then we bring to the market and then we sold as a way of extra income. But if you have just barely enough for your family, then that's it. So that is more toward subsistence economy. But the world is changing right now. We just don't want to rely on the subsistence economies also. We want more towards industrial revolutions. Like now is going towards in IR 4.0, whereby you produce more. You just not subsisted for your own family, but you produce. You produce products with innovation. You produce items that can be used en masse for everybody in the country. So the government right now is currently really going towards this IR 4.0, whereby they wanted products, they wanted innovation, they wanted more progressive workforces to contribute towards the economy of the country. So we must have this kind of ability. Other than that is the value marketing. Value marketing, people are also becoming more conscious about the products that they purchase. So they can look at the product. For example, if I purchase this mouse, so I wanted to see whether the brand that I purchased, whether is value for the money that I paid for. Like I paid about 50 ringgit for this mouse, and I feel it's a very good quality mouse. It's a Bluetooth mouse, and it doesn't have to use a lot of battery to operate, and it's very easy to handle and everything. As compared if I pay for 10 ringgit for a mouse that is doesn't have any Bluetooth. So it's a wired mouse and using not the laser optics, but use the rubber ball, 10 ringgit. So as compared to 50 ringgit. So that might not contribute towards value for money. So sometimes we try to find the correlation between the money that we pay and then the amount of value that we can get from the product. Income distribution, of course, you need to find out relating the differences of the income gaps. We need to classify in Malaysia. We classify under B40 which is the bottom 40, and then M40 is the medium 40, and the T20, the top 20 income purchasers. So this disparities needed to be highlighted, because sometimes we cannot offer a product that is can be used for all of the different categories, but sometimes we have to specialize, like for example, if we are selling high-end condominiums worth 2 million ringgit, is the B40s can afford to purchase this 2 million ringgit apartment or condominiums. Of course, the ones in the T20 only can afford. So B40s is more towards the affordable housing or whatsoever, even the low-cost housing provided by the government. So bear in mind when we conduct our marketing of our own products. Okay, natural environment. Okay, I think every one of you has already become familiar with this mission, whereby we are getting more and more exposure towards green and sustainable environment matters, like 3R, like using green technologies in the building. So our products must also cater towards the environment. Even if you go to the fast food restaurant right now, they are discarding all the plastics being used, like plastic straws. They are replacing them with the paper straws. But sometimes when you want to drink, it became very hard because it's just paper straw, very flimsy. But nonetheless, if it can help to save the environment, then maybe we have to reduce the dependence on the plastics. We can be more environmental conscious. Okay. Technological environment, I don't have to explain it much further to you. You all are very technological savvy. Even if I use the Padlet, even the quizzes, the Google Classrooms in the class, you all can follow quite efficiently. You can, even you are watching right now through YouTube, you can watch anywhere that you want. I hope in the near future all of our classes can be like this. It's much easier for you, much easier for me. But yeah, I can wrap up all the lectures in the YouTube, and then maybe afterward I can use other mediums for more interactive session. I will force you to join in live rather than just watching recorded lectures like this. So it will be more interactive. Okay, political environment. Okay, so political environment, changes of the government, changes of the minister, changes of the policies. In terms of politics, I don't want to touch. That is out of my expertise. Why this party come to this party? I don't want to touch that. We want to see what is the changes that they brought, because different policy makers have different point of views, different perceptions on how products are going to be produced or whatever. So we try to see the changes that they brought, and whether the policies or standards that they brought is good, or even we can criticize them, and then suggest for much better improvement. As in the academic world, we try to find the positives, or if we found the negatives, we try to improve the situation. Okay. All right. Cultural environment. Like in UiTM, sometimes it can be quite hard because we all are in Bumiputra, Malay Muslim. Some of you might not be Malay but Bumiputras, but nonetheless we try to cope, because if you cannot get the culture from the university, then you have to look outside, because when you graduate and work in the industry, you will meet a lot of people from different backgrounds, different universities, different age, different race, culture, religion, and whatsoever. So we need to find the similar melting point, similar, whereby we can interact with each other, communicate properly, and help each other to strive much better in the real estate industry, right? Okay, so I think that's about it for our lecture today. If you have any questions, you can either comment through the comment section below. I don't know whether I'm pointing in the right direction or not. And then if you have any further questions, you can put in the question in the column section of the Padlet, on my Padlet. So this URL link also I will post in the Padlet. So that's about it for today's lecture, and I hope everyone is doing well. So until we meet again next time in our next lecture. So assalamualaikum, and very good day to everybody. All right.